Josh Jacobs injury update. Should fantasy managers be concerned about the Packers' star running back? The Green Bay Packers are entering a critical stage of the season as they prepare for their Week 9 matchup against the Carolina Panthers, and all attention has turned toward the condition of running back Josh Jacobs, whose name once again appeared on the team's injury report due to a lingering calf issue. The question echoing among fans, analysts, and fantasy football managers across the country is whether this latest update should cause any real concern for Jacobs' availability and performance in the weeks ahead. For the Packers organization, this situation is not unfamiliar. Throughout the season, Jacobs has battled through a series of minor injuries ranging from soft tissue concerns to manageable soreness that comes with the wear and tear of the running back position, yet despite the continuous attention from the medical staff, he has proven remarkably durable and consistent, never missing a game, and always finding a way to contribute when it matters most. His presence on the practice field this week, albeit in a limited capacity once again, reinforces the perception that this is more a case of workload management than a sign of a significant setback. Head coach Matt LaFleur has been careful to balance Jacobs' workload since the early weeks of the season, understanding that veteran players do not need to push themselves unnecessarily during midweek practices. This approach has become standard across the league, where Wednesday sessions are often lighter, especially for veterans who already know the playbook and the rhythm of game preparation. The Packers' medical and performance staff have prioritized Jacobs' long-term health over short-term strain, ensuring that when the team needs him most, he is ready to deliver at full capacity. The calf issue being reported this week falls in line with what has been an ongoing maintenance program rather than an alarming development calf. Tightness and soreness are common for running backs given the explosiveness required at their position. Each sprint, cut, and tackle places immense stress on those muscles, and the Packers have wisely opted to take every precaution to keep their lead back healthy. The fact that Jacobs was able to take part in practice at all, rather than being held out entirely, is an encouraging sign for both the team and for fantasy football managers watching his status closely. From a fantasy perspective, Jacobs remains one of the most reliable running backs in the NFL. His production has not dipped significantly even as the Packers continue to integrate younger contributors such as Emmanuel Wilson, who saw some additional carries last week. Wilson recorded 11 carries for 61 yards, showing flashes of potential, while Jacobs finished the night with 13 carries for 33 yards and another touchdown. Though the stat line might appear modest, the consistency of Jacobs' role cannot be overstated. He continues to be the primary option near the goal line and a trusted receiver out of the backfield, catching at least 3 passes in 5 of his last 6 games. That reliability has made him a cornerstone for fantasy teams and a key piece in Green Bay's offensive strategy. It is also important to consider the broader context of the Packers' season. Green Bay had an early bye in Week 5, which allowed some recovery time, but also means that the team must now navigate a long stretch of consecutive games leading into December. In that scenario, managing the health of their star running back becomes essential. LaFleur and the coaching staff know that preserving Jacobs' legs now will pay off when colder weather and playoff implications arrive. The expectation internally is that Jacobs' workload will gradually increase again in the final stretch of the regular season, when the team will rely heavily on his ability to grind out tough yards and sustain drives against physical defensive fronts. Historically, Jacobs has shown exceptional toughness and resilience traits that have defined his career since his early days with the Raiders, and now in his first season with the Packers. His playing style thrives on contact balance and determination, making him a perfect fit for Green Bay's offensive philosophy, which values discipline, physicality, and adaptability. Every carry he takes is a reflection of his competitive spirit and his willingness to fight through discomfort for the sake of the team. That mentality has earned him the respect of his teammates and coaches, as well as the admiration of fans who recognize his contribution beyond the box score in the context of fantasy football. Jacobs' current situation should not trigger panic. Instead, it should be viewed as a reminder that experienced players often go through periods of maintenance during the middle of the season without missing time, and without indications of serious structural injury, the veteran running back remains a top 10 fantasy option capable of delivering consistent scoring opportunities through both rushing and receiving work. Managers who have built their rosters around him can continue to rely on his production, especially as the Packers' offense continues to find balance and rhythm under LaFleur. Looking beyond the injury report, the Packers organization remains focused on maintaining their strong position in the NFC. The upcoming game against Carolina represents another opportunity to solidify their standing while refining offensive efficiency. The presence of a healthy and effective Josh Jacobs will be pivotal not only for the outcome of this matchup, but for the team's larger ambitions. As long as Jacobs remains on the field, Green Bay possesses one of the most versatile and dependable backfields in the league for fans. This development serves as yet another example of how the Packers handle adversity with composure and foresight. Injuries and adjustments are part of every NFL season, but it is how a team responds that defines its identity. The Packers have built a culture around preparation, resilience, and depth, ensuring that no single challenge derails their progress. Josh Jacobs embodies that mindset. He represents the blend of toughness and intelligence that the franchise has long celebrated to all who follow the green and gold weather. As lifelong supporters or fantasy enthusiasts, this is the time to stay engaged. Every update, every practice report, and every game carries a story that reveals more about the team's journey and its determination to contend for the ultimate prize. The Packers continue to evolve week by week, and Jacobs' role within that narrative remains central. If you want to follow every development with accuracy and insight, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Here we break down each report, each performance, and each storyline that shapes the Packers season. Your interaction helps strengthen a community that shares the same passion for excellence, competition, and tradition that defines Green Bay football. Together, we follow the highs and the challenges, we analyze the strategy behind every move, and we stand united in support of a team that embodies perseverance and pride. Stay tuned because the story of Josh Jacobs and the 2025 Green Bay Packers is far from finished, and the chapters ahead promise even more intensity, resilience, and triumph. Green Bay Packers fans left wondering about the latest Marshawn Lloyd update. The Green Bay Packers continued to navigate a challenging season filled with highs, lows, and the persistent uncertainty surrounding the health of rookie running back Marshawn Lloyd. What began as a minor preseason setback has evolved into a lingering issue that has left fans, coaches, and analysts searching for answers as the weeks pass without a clear timetable for his return. The conversation around Lloyd has grown from cautious optimism to a mixture of frustration and concern, yet hope still lingers that the young player will overcome these early obstacles and fulfill the potential that first drew the Packers to him. The story of Marshawn Lloyd's first year in Green Bay has been anything but straightforward. His professional career began with promise during training camp, where his speed, agility, and explosiveness turned heads among teammates and coaches alike. The Packers had envisioned Lloyd as a dynamic complement to their established rushing attack, a player capable of breaking games open with his burst and vision, but that vision was abruptly halted in August when a hamstring injury derailed his preseason plans, preventing him from making an immediate impression on the field. The timing could not have been worse, as the injury occurred just when the coaching staff was finalizing the roster and preparing for the grind of the regular season. When the Packers officially placed Lloyd on injured reserve at the start of the campaign, it was meant to be a temporary measure, a precaution designed to allow the rookie to heal fully before stepping back into action. However, as the weeks stretched into months, that sense of precaution began to shift into unease. The updates from head coach Matt LaFleur grew more restrained and less optimistic, culminating in his most recent statement that fans should not expect Lloyd to return anytime soon. Those few words, delivered with LaFleur's usual candor, underscored the gravity of the situation and effectively dampened hopes of a quick comeback. This latest development follows a pattern of unfortunate setbacks that have plagued Lloyd since his arrival in Green Bay. Even before the hamstring injury, the young running back faced challenges that tested both his patience and resolve. An emergency appendectomy earlier in his rookie year disrupted his conditioning program and delayed his acclimation to the professional level. What was expected to be a season of steady progress and adaptation instead became a frustrating series of medical evaluations, rehab, sessions and missed opportunities for growth for a player whose potential was once described as game-changing. This slow start represents a difficult reality. The Packers now find themselves adapting once again to life without Lloyd as they continue to rely on the trio of Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, and Chris Brooks to shoulder the rushing responsibilities. Jacobs has provided leadership and consistency, embodying the toughness and reliability expected from a veteran back. Wilson has shown flashes of promise, displaying both vision and acceleration, while Brooks has contributed through his versatility and effort. Together, they have kept the Packers' ground game functioning, but there remains a sense that something is missing. The spark, the unpredictability, and the energy that Lloyd was expected to bring have yet to be replaced. From a tactical standpoint, Lloyd's absence has forced the coaching staff to make subtle adjustments in play calling and personnel rotation. Offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich has leaned more heavily on short passing concepts and running back screens to compensate for the loss of speed out of the backfield. The strategy has worked to some extent, but it has also highlighted the limitations of a unit that lacks a true home run threat. Like Lloyd, a healthy version of him could stretch defenses' open passing lanes and provide quarterback Jordan Love with an additional safety valve in pressure situations beyond the field. The human element of Lloyd's recovery cannot be overlooked. The mental and emotional toll of repeated injuries on a young athlete can be immense. Each week spent on the sidelines brings both frustration and self-reflection. Watching teammates compete while being confined to rehab drills and medical updates is a test of patience and discipline. Lloyd has handled the situation with professionalism, continuing to attend team meetings, study film, and remain engaged with the offensive unit. His teammates and coaches have praised his attitude, noting that his determination has never wavered despite the setbacks. Inside the Packers organization, there is still faith that Lloyd will eventually make a full recovery. The medical staff has prioritized a cautious approach, knowing that hamstring injuries are notoriously unpredictable. Rushing a return could risk re-aggravation, which would extend his absence even further. The team understands that preserving Lloyd's long-term health is far more valuable than forcing an early return for short-term gains. Patience in this case is a strategy, not a setback. The fan base, however, continues to voice its impatience, understandably so. Green Bay fans are known for their passion and their deep connection to the players who wear the green and gold. Many had high expectations for Lloyd after watching his explosive college career and his brief flashes during preseason practices. The idea of seeing him in full stride at Lambeau Field remains a source of anticipation across the Packers community. Every injury update is met with both curiosity and hope, as supporters wait for signs that the talented young back is nearing a return. When Marshawn Lloyd does eventually rejoin the team, his return will bring new questions and challenges to the roster. The Packers will need to evaluate how best to reintegrate him into an already functioning backfield rotation. Decisions will need to be made about which player might be moved or released to create space for his activation from injured reserve. That kind of logistical planning is part of the business side of football, yet it also illustrates the difficult balance teams must strike between opportunity and performance. The broader picture, however, extends beyond statistics or roster management. The situation with Lloyd serves as a reminder of the unpredictability of professional sports and the resilience required to endure it. Success at this level often depends not only on talent, but on the ability to navigate adversity and come back stronger than before. The Packers have long prided themselves on building a culture of perseverance and commitment, values that align perfectly with Lloyd's personal story. As the season progresses and the team continues its pursuit of playoff contention, the coaching staff will maintain focus on immediate performance. While keeping a watchful eye on Lloyd's recovery progress, the road ahead may still be long, but within the walls of the Packers facility, there remains quiet confidence that his time will come. When it does, the organization believes he can be the difference maker. They envisioned the type of player capable of shifting the momentum of games with a single explosive run. For now, the message to fans is clear: stay patient, stay connected, and stay hopeful. The Green Bay Packers are a team built on tradition, unity, and belief, and every supporter plays a part in that story. We encourage everyone who follows this journey to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can stay informed about every development, every update, and every milestone that defines this season. Together we can celebrate the triumphs, endure the challenges, and share the anticipation for the moment when Marshawn Lloyd finally takes the field once more, wearing the green and gold, ready to write the next chapter of his story and the enduring legacy of the Green Bay Packers.